unless somebody corrects me, that's the only ball Willie Ninja ever gave. Oh, unless I don't, and I'm not aware of it, that he gave with me.
That's right. Let's give a shout out to Willie Ninja, by the way.
Hey.
May he rest in peace. Let me tell you something.
Legendary Willie Ninja. Rest in peace.
The icon Willie Ninja. And let me tell you about Willie. We gave the ball, and a lot. Willie had been sick like for 2 months. And I was there through his whole, struggling and everything, because he didn't want nobody to know his business or anything. And, you can't go get help sometimes, because as soon as, like a lot of kids, we'll get into that because you're going to ask me, I'm sure, about this AIDS epidemic thing that's going on.
That's right.
But back to that, whatever. But, Willie was so kind and so generous that it was amazing. Like when it came down to the end of the night with the ball, he was like, well, Kevin, because he wasn't able to promote or whatever, he says, I want you to just take this envelope. And I said, what's this for? He said, do not open it until you get home. And when I opened it, it was like $750 in there.
Ooh, that's a lot of money. So he was,
it was
definitely trustable and honorable, and he was loyal.
He was very loyal, and he took care of his mother till the end.
Shout out to the House of Ninja, by the way. We love you.
Right on. Out to Benny, because I worked with Benny many a times with the How Do I Look. We've traveled. We went to Penn State University. We were at Patterson University. We did a lot of shows for the How Do I Look screenings. And what we would do is we would question and answer, any questions people had. Most of the audience were straight and they needed to learn about the gay lifestyle. Penn State University just had established the gay community that year that they welcomed us there to do this.
I was working in Penn State during that time.
Yeah, well, we were there, and Benny was always the star attraction. I mean, because they live for his voguing.
Yes, definitely.
He just reminds me that, what, he is and has Willie's legacy. And I'm very proud of him. And he's a sweetheart. He's a real sweetheart. Okay, so
real quick, I don't want to throw you off subject, but let's talk about this How Do I Look real quick for a moment.
Oh, okay. Well, then, see, you're going to start controversy, because then I'm going to have to say, I'm going to say this. How Do I Look was an idea that a friend of mine, Wolfgang Bush, who's also an Omni, we call him Wolf Omni, me and him became friends back in, 1992. And so, after Paris is Burning had been released, which was a shock, and I'll tell you why. Because, let's do this real quick, because I hate the long, drawn-out version. Right. Jenny Livingston came to the balls. She filmed balls. She said that it was for a college thesis. That was it. She had people sign releases, and like most ball children that claim to be intelligent and know how to read, did not read the contract. What it was saying was, we release all our rights. So, next thing you know, pop out, who knew, there was no pre-film screening or anything, that these people now have a film in 1991, Paris is Burning. And then everybody that went to court and tried to sue her, they lost. I know the specifics behind who got what, and I know Octavia was the only one who successfully sued them. But the movie, the film, a lot of kids keep on, Paris is burning, Paris is burning. They don't even know the ramifications of just how, let's give an example. Venus Extravaganza was stabbed to death, 18 times? Her family did not even know she was dead until the film came out.
Are you serious?
It's cancer.
Wow.
Then you have other people who were attacked because they were in the film and people didn't know they were gay, but since they film exposed them, now they had these people that weren't kind to gay people.
Wow.
So, Paris is Burning caused many of problems. And also, they wanted to show the kids stealing out of Roy Rogers. They wanted to show, snatching burgers, scaring white people. They wanted to show, different things where it just wasn't like, if you're going to show one thing of the community, show everything. Jenny Livingston took many a footage of me, and I'm only in that film for a hot second on the judges panel at Paris's Ball when Candy LaBeija comes out for body and she's standing there in that white dress. I'm sitting right to the right, and you can see me with my blue suede on. But I'm glad she didn't have me. I didn't sign a release. So really, if I wanted, that little part of me wouldn't be enough to say, oh, this has caused me problems. But the bottom line is, she didn't want to talk about me because I was boring. I worked in Wall Street.
You're not boring.
Went to college. No, I was boring because it wasn't enough seediness. I needed to be burgers out of Roy Rogers.
And you know what?
You understand what I'm saying? Let me go a little further and deep, and we'll leave Paris is Burning alone and go to How Do I Look. During that time, 1991, 1985, was the height of the epidemic. Not one mention of AIDS in the film whatsoever. Don't you find that strange?
Right.
So How Do I Look came about because we wanted to tell the other side of the story. The people that were going to college, and like Terrence Legend International and Stefan Blahnik and people, and me, myself, that we go to balls and work, and yet we go to balls, we work, we graduated, we're educated. So, we are showing the verisimilitude of there is another side to the, stealing, if you go to balls, hang out in front of Port Authority, or stealing Roy Roger burgers, or anything else of the sort that I'm forgetting about what that film entails. So How Do I Look wanted to present the educational and artistic side. Plus, we wanted to take the film and create empowerment programs like jobs for the ball community. But we got fought so fiercely. We're trying to help the ballroom community, and then you have those ones that, what are you doing any different than Paris? But, well, me and Wolfgang had to struggle. We went places. We joined organizations just to get money to create the film, to no avail. Nobody gave us a penny, and a lot of that came out of Wolfgang's pockets. Right. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have any grants or anything that helped us with that film, so we had to do a lot of screenings, raise money. We had to do. It's a lot of work, and you know what? I'm proud to watch that film and hear Jose explain about Dancing with Madonna and his dancing and what the moves cost him, as far as the pain that he had to go through. And then you had, what's her name? I forgot her name. I'm looking at her face. It'll come back to me. But, she's shown in the film dragging a luggage carrier up. And she says, "Welcome to Syracuse University." And then Octavia's in the film talking about HIV and AIDS, and so is Luna. So you have a different side of Paris is Burning. We're not just going to talk about the balls and children reading, because Miss Doria made that statement. I don't have to tell you you're ugly. You should know you're ugly, okay? You want to know, a lot of people, and I'm not taking credit for it, a lot of people knew that Miss Dorian got that from me, because I would get on the stage and tell people, listen, if you don't walk the face category and you know you don't have face, why are you up here?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Then you want to get mad when somebody want to chop you with a nine. Go sit down. You know you shouldn't have been up here. You know what I'm saying? And then the child going to tell me, F you. Oh, well, there goes alcohol, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a round of applause.
Yes. I've seen it plenty of times at the ballroom scene.
Yeah. So How Do I Look was a community project. Another thing, we had meetings to ask everybody in the ballroom community that showed up at the gay center, what do you want to see in the film? So that was the difference. We didn't have a choice with what Mrs. Jenny Livingston did, but we had a choice with How Do I Look. And everybody that came and supported, they gave us their ideas, and that's what we gave them in How Do I Look.
Well, what do you think about the new book that was just released not too long ago called Legendary?
Oh, I haven't seen that book yet, but, I know Gerard Gaskin is a sweetheart. I know him. He's a great photographer. I haven't had the opportunity to see it, so I can't speak on it. But there was also another book that was released January 2012, and it's called Voguing Balls in New York City, 1989 to 1992. And the pictures there were by a legendary photographer. Her name is Chantel. She would come to the picnics, the Omni picnics. She would go into the neighborhood. Let me tell you something. She has the best, flawless photographs of Tavia, Tipper, St. Laurent, all the people that passed away. Moldavia is on the cover of the book. It's a great book. It's sold on Amazon.com. It's a beautiful, I would say it's 8 by 11 inches. the color, the cover, everything. And I interviewed in there David Ultima, who used to be Extravaganza. Interviewed in there. There's a lot of interviews in there, but there's a lot of pictures. And the book, I mean, these pictures come from different, like the Love Ball of 89 and 91, which were AIDS fundraisers. And those pictures that from Roseland Ballroom that's in that book are phenomenal. Pictures that, like, Mr. and Temperance are sitting on a stoop of a brownstone. I mean, the book is really a nice coffee table book so that people would come into your living room and pick it up and read it. And it's called, again, Voguing Balls in New York City, 1989 to 1992. Mm-hmm. And I would definitely tell people to go out and get it. And I am going to get Gerard's book that just was released. As soon as I get it, I've been hearing good things about it. I don't expect anything but good because Gerard is a great photographer.
Yes, he is.
So, yeah.
And I wish him the best of luck with that one. We definitely got to get him in here for an exclusive interview or on the lines.
Boy.
You know what I want to talk about real quick? Solo Live and Dance Fever.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Well, I got to give credit to David Extravaganza Ultima Padilla because when I met David, we became friends in 1975. Me and David have been friends for a long time. David taught me how to dance the hustle and the Latin salsa.
Okay.
Matter of fact, David gave me a birthday party, my 50th birthday party, which was Latin and salsa. And we fought like anybody else throughout the years. 1 minute we're speaking, next minute we're not. But we're always there for each other, and especially in an emergency. So because of David's teaching, showing me how to be an expert in hustle, that gained me a chance on Solo Live twice, an opportunity on Dance Fever. And David was on Dance Fever, but he came in, he did even further because he was in the dance, the winner's circle. And he came in first. And we're talking about 50 different couples that competed against. I didn't do the competition. I was just on the show for the dancing part of it. Just like Solo Live, there was no winners there. What they did was when we went interviews at clubs, like I went to this club called Leviticus, which was on 35th Street in Manhattan back in the 70s, and another club called Strawberry 2, which was up. You had to take the 6th train to the last stop, somewhere in Pelham or something, and then you take a bus. But anyway, we got chosen, and how we got chosen was they would come on the floor, they would put the music on, and whoever they tapped me like first. And I was like, damn, they don't like us. So me and my girlfriend sit down. But it was the people that they tapped that they wanted on the show.
That's usually how it is.
I thought maybe because they saw her didn't spend one particular time, correctly, that we were out, but that wasn't the case. So, and then I watched it repeat itself like 6 times during the year, Solo Live 2 times during the year, the same show with Dance Fever. And people in my neighborhood, can I have your autograph? And the homeboys, yo, Kev, you want to teach us how to do that thing? And then it was to the point where I would call David to come from. David lives 106th Street in Spanish Harlem, and I would call him, and David would come to Brooklyn, and we would tear the block party up. And we had one more friend, but rest in peace, C. Ebony, and Ovinus, and he was a dancing fool too, and he used to come, and we would go to the parks outside of the block parties and dance. We watched people hustling and whatnot, and then the boys would be sitting around. Tony said, "Come on, you ready?" And these are boys that I grew up with that didn't know that I was gay, and now I'm just going to get here, let him leave, throw me up in the air and all that shit, and we did all that and got standing ovations from the worst of the crowd. Again, it helped me because afterwards when I would see these boys at night, they'd be in the alleyway going,
The boys are too much.
Yeah, But anyway, But, one thing that needs to be, like, that was a time. The 70s were a time. I mean, I saw myself in 1968, but in the 70s, we didn't have to worry about HIV and AIDS. There was no such thing, so you screwed everybody. Nobody was there. I'm be your boyfriend, and we're going to be lovers. We didn't know what the hell that meant. We just wanted to let's do that thing to make us feel good. You know what I'm saying? And that's what and that lasted. So I'm sad for the world today. I'm sad for the gay kids today, and the ballroom kids, and anybody else, because, I had